You are listening to the Fit Figure Formula podcast. I help female perfectionists beat self-sabotage and lose the weight for good using the Fit Figure Formula coaching program. I'm your host, Stephanie Riles, registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. If you've been struggling with all or nothing thinking, negative self-talk, or self-sabotage, this is the podcast for you. Learn how to get consistent and become the best version of yourself from the inside out. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to the episode. Today I'm going to be sharing a training that I did inside of my Facebook group. So my Facebook group, I go live every single week in my Facebook group. And not only do they get these amazing trainings, but they also get to ask me questions and engage with me in real time. So I have a quick question for you. Are you already inside of my Facebook group? If not, you'll definitely want to check out the show notes and come on over. It's a free group where I teach you more about macros and mindset. So I want you to sit back, enjoy this episode, take some notes, and don't forget to come over to the Facebook group by clicking the link in the show notes. Good morning, everyone. It is Coach Steph. Good morning. Good morning. I'm looking a little crazy right now, but I wanted to make sure that I came on live because I scheduled this post and this live training. I'm not going to be on here long, but I wanted to talk about consistency when life gets busy. So on the podcast of the Fit Figure Formula podcast, all of March, I'm talking about consistency. So the last episode that I did was consistency and temptation, how to be consistent when you're tempted. And then the episode previous to that, I did consistency and having a tenacious mindset to be consistent. Today, I'm talking about consistency when life gets busy. So if you have ever struggled with your health journey, when you feel like life gets busy, type me in the chat. Has this ever happened to you? You're doing good and then something happens and you fall off and you keep doing this cycle over and over again. I'm going to give you some tips and some tools to help you. The best way to get help and the best way to stop this cycle is to join the Fit Figure Formula coaching program. So I am the host of the Fit Figure Formula coaching program. It's a 16-week, day-by-day, step-by-step process where I walk you through my formula process that I've put hundreds of ladies through. And in that process, I'm going to teach you how to master your mindset and master your macros so that you can lose weight and keep it off. So that you can lose fat and keep it off. So if you are over 40 and the scale is stuck and you feel like it must be your hormones, or if you feel like you keep starting over and over again, you've lost the same 10 or 15 pounds, but you just can't seem to keep it off. A lot of my clients have dieted before. They've done keto, they've done Weight Watchers, they've done all these things, but they can't keep it off. And when they're dieting, it feels restrictive. It feels like punishment. It feels like you're doing this thing versus like your identity. The formula is for you. It's a lifestyle transformation program that is going to help you through vacations, through real life. Like I want to help you through the busy season so that you know exactly what to do. What issues do you have with staying consistent? This is what I help my clients do. So on our coaching calls, a lot of times we will talk about your real life. Like, what are you actually struggling with? What's the trigger for like knocking you off track? But first, I want you to ask yourself this question. What is consistency to you? Because if you feel like you can be consistent, but only when life is calm or only when like there's not a lot going on, it's not so much about your schedule and what's happening. It's about really slowing down and trying to see, okay, what is it that I actually need to think through, prepare for, right? And setting systems in place. You do not want to continue to start from scratch every week trying to figure out what you're going to eat, when you're going to work out, what day you're going to prep, how to prep, what to grocery shop. If you're starting over, you're going to be exhausted. You're making too many decisions. We actually want to decrease decisions. So that is really tip number one. If you want to be consistent, especially when life gets busy, you need to decrease the amount of decisions that you actually make. Now, this does not mean you have to eat the same thing every single day. Okay. It just means that we're building a system that lends itself to you not having to make as many decisions. Because a lot of times if we're making too many decisions and we're having to start from scratch every single time, we get fatigued at the end of the day, we get fatigued at the end of the week. and we stop. Or if things are busy in your schedule, we tend to kind of put your health on the back burner. And this is something that is really important in terms of a mindset shift. Is sometimes I will coach clients, and a lot of times I coach overthinkers, right? We're always trying to, do the best at work and make sure our kids have everything they need, and you're doing a lot. However, if your weight loss journey, or if you are not centered, if you are not grounded, if you do not feel like you have a solid foundation, you're always going to feel flustered doing all the things. So being able to center yourself and not get caught up mentally in the, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Because a lot of times that makes you feel busier. It will make you feel busier if you get caught up, versus taking a more strategic look at my actual time. If I have 10 things to do today, do I actually have time and energy to do those things? And maybe I do need to strategically say, these 3 things I'm not going to get done today, and put those off for another day, versus having this pressure. Like, have you ever just felt like mental pressure to check off all of these boxes? And if you get caught up in that and like, oh, it will never feel like you have time to eat. It won't feel like you have time to get your workout in. Because sometimes even I will wake up and technically I have the time, but I'm like, ooh, but I got to get this done. So it's like these other things are on my mind, like mentally, even though technically I have the time, I feel like I don't have the time because I'm putting pressure on myself, or I feel like I have to rush and get these things done. So really slowing down is actually a much better strategy. And I know it feels like you can't slow down, but whenever you're trying to do too many things at one time, you get less done. Okay, so making sure that, number one, you're decreasing decisions, okay? And you're building a system. And this is what I help you do inside of the formula. I'm going to help you build a system for yourself so that you don't have to make so many decisions day after day, week after week. Sometimes the decisions are already made for you. And on the weeks where you do want to make more decisions, where you have the capacity to make more decisions, great. But on those weeks where things are busy, you can just go to your system and grab your plan that you made for yourself, that you already love, that you already have the food for, you already know how to make, and say, here's what I'm going to do this week. So much easier. Okay. I help you build this system inside of the formula. Okay. 2 was kind of like a mindset thing of feeling busy makes you feel anxious, flustered, pressured, like you don't have enough time. Okay. So put down, I think it's so important to start your morning off with silence, centeredness, whatever you need to do, meditation, journaling, but ground yourself first. Delete or delegate some of your tasks. Focus on the most high priority task and create room for your health habits. Because sometimes we'll say, well, I can't be consistent, but you haven't even put your workout on your calendar yet. You haven't even put meal planning on your calendar. I bet you don't have time carved out on your calendar for prepping your meals. Of course you feel like you don't have time. It's not even on your calendar, right? It's literally not even on your calendar. So we have to make sure that mentally, if we want to be consistent, we have to put it on your calendar. Put on your calendar, okay? So you cannot just prioritize your health habits when you feel like life is calm. Because if you do that, every time life gets busy, everything will fall apart. When work gets hectic, when your kids need you, when you're tired, when your routine gets thrown off, suddenly you're thinking, okay, I just need to start over again. That is a self-sabotaging thought. So consistency is not working out every single day, eating perfectly, or hitting your macros 100%. That's perfection. So I think we have to redefine consistency. Redefine what consistency means, because a lot of times we think it's perfection. The fastest way to become inconsistent is trying to be perfect. Consistency really is about doing the best that you can over and over and over again. even when life gets hard, without quitting when life gets hard. So showing up on your best days. I've told y'all before, when you set expectations for what consistency is going to look like, you can't set it at the level of your best days and your best weeks. So if you are thinking that your best weeks are going to be how you perform all the time, you're setting yourself up to feel like you're failing. Think about your busiest weeks, your most stressful times, your imperfect days. What is that week going to look like? And then base your consistency off of that, because those days are actually going to determine your results. It's not your best weeks. So you can't only show up when life is easy or calm. You'll always feel like you're starting over, and that's really exhausting to feel like, oh my God, I'm starting over again, because that's not really true anyway, even though we believe it. But that thought makes you feel exhausted, and it drains your confidence. And then you're just like, you know what, screw it, this is too much, I can't do it. But then you really want that result, so you keep trying. So a lot of us, we're not taught how to be consistent. We really weren't taught how to prioritize ourselves. And so we get caught in all or nothing thinking. Go hard or go home. Be strict or don't bother. And I think that there are a lot of programs that are like that are like, go hard. If it doesn't hurt, you're not doing it right. And I think that it's very harmful, because that's not really the best thing for most clients. That's usually a company, a program, a trainer who's trying to get really good testimonials, really good results, before and after pictures for their business, so that they can look like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can get this result really quickly. That's not for your benefit, to go fast, go hard, or go home, because you're not going to be able to maintain that. So understand that I get why people do that in business. I get it. But I want you to know that your lifestyle change is not going to look like go hard or go home. It just is not. And you wouldn't want it to, because that would be a really strict, hard way to live. And then when life gets busy, you're completely off, right? So there are more than two options. Do everything perfectly or do nothing at all. There's something in between. So you have to think of your consistency like flexibility instead of like perfection. So we've talked about this before. If you can't do your whole workout, you can do 20 minutes. If you can't hit all your macros, can you eat a balanced lifestyle or a balanced plate? I give my clients options for there's doing nothing, there's eating what I call formula meals, there's tracking your meals, and then there is pre-planning your meals. That's the gold standard. So there's options, and it's going to look different in every season. So you really need to evaluate your season, right? So sometimes there's summertime, right? So sitting down with yourself and looking what is this season going to look like? What meetings do I have? What the kids have going on? How does my schedule need to adjust for this season, right? And then we also need to be looking at that week to week. Week to week, how can I be consistent? What went well? What did not go well? What do I need to change for the next week? And when you do that, you will be more consistent, because you'll see, okay, I'm in a busy season. Here's my bare minimum. So adopt some minimum standards that can help you stay consistent, because if you don't decide ahead of time what you're going to keep off of your routine, assuming that you have a routine, then you're likely to drop everything. So that could be, I'm just going to hit my protein goal, or I'm just going to get 7,000 steps a day, or I'm just going to move my body every day for 20 minutes, or I'm just going to make sure I have vegetables on my plate for lunch and dinner and make sure my snack has high protein. But you not deciding that is the reason why you're inconsistent, and not looking at where are my busy seasons? And then also, what are my triggers? What are my triggers? What triggers me to fall off? Is it stress? Is it, the kids going back to school, the kids being off from vacation? Is it, grief? What is it that is keeping you from continuing your health journey? Understanding that and then being able to plan for that obstacle is very important. What are my minimum standards when I'm going through grief? What are my minimum standards for what I'm going to execute whenever the kids are home from vacation? That will help you stay consistent, even though consistency is going to look different. It's going to look different, okay? So consistency might not be 4 to 5 workouts every week. Sometimes it might just look like mastering your meals and taking walks every day. That's consistency too. Consistency doesn't look the same, and it's also not perfection in hitting those every single day. So we've got to stop starting and restarting. We've got to start building an identity around these habits, not just taking action because you think it's going to get to a goal. We have to slow down and prepare for our busy season, for our busy week, for our busy day, like slowing down to go faster, and then really anchoring your action steps to something emotional, whether it's self-trust, self-discipline, self-love, and anchoring your habits in those emotions and what you want most. Because sometimes we will trade in what we want most for what we want right now, and that'll never make you feel satisfied. And we have to really tackle things like procrastination. We got to tackle procrastination because a lot of times that will keep you stuck and that will keep you feeling inconsistent because you're procrastinating and the time goes by. And you have a busy schedule, and it's not that you don't have the time, you just procrastinated, or you felt like you had to do the whole thing instead of a little bit. And things like procrastination, micro quitting, thinking consistency is perfection, being intense, right? Like using intensity instead of flexibility. Those are pitfalls that are going to keep you stopping and starting and starting and stopping over and over and over again. So inside of the formula, I help you build out your plan, build out your system, build out your formula. I help you understand what to do and give you frameworks for busy seasons, for vacations. I actually just got off of a call with a client. She has been traveling. She's been in Australia. She's been to the UK twice. And we have not met. Like, we started coaching May of last year. And she lost the 15 pounds that she wanted. And now she's been able to maintain around a weight that she's very comfortable with. And she just told me, like, yeah, this is a lifestyle now. She said she feels so much better. She's been traveling, but she's able to get right back on track. And her weight has been stable and the same ever since we stopped coaching. And so this formula is for busy people. If you're traveling, if you're on vacation. I've had so many people tell me, like, oh, I'm about to get married, so I'll join the formula later. Or I'm going on vacation, so I'll do it later. And it's like, that is exactly the self-sabotage that you don't want. And so I kind of cringe a little bit, like, I don't want to seem pushy, right? But that exact thought process is why you stay inconsistent, because you think that later is a better time, when you don't have to be perfect on vacation. You don't have to be restrictive on vacation, but you don't have to ignore your health either on vacation. Like, that's part of it. So now is always the best time to invest in yourself. Now is always the best time to invest in your health and to start becoming the best version and the healthiest version of yourself. As we age and we're, 40 plus, y'all see my gray hairs here that I cover up that are actually growing back. Time is not waiting, right? Like, so we're getting older, we're losing muscle, our bones are getting less dense, we're not as mobile as we used to be, not as flexible. Like, what are you waiting for? Now is the time. If you're having cravings, if you're having A1C issues, if you're on blood pressure medication, if you've been told that you're pre-diabetic, if you know that your nutrition isn't up to par, you might not have any of those diagnoses right now, but if you know your nutrition is not on point, then you know that something's got to be coming, because when we're not moving well and we're not eating well, you're just setting yourself up. So don't wait for that call. Don't wait for that diagnosis. Don't wait for those labs to tell you that you need to really make a change. Even if you're on something like a GLP-1, you need a dietitian even more so, because you need to really dial in your nutrition so that your nutrition is nutrient dense and so that you're not getting brittle bones, your hair falling out, anemia, calcium deficiencies, things like that. So if you are interested in joining the Fit Figure Formula, again, this is my 16-week macros and mindset program where I'm in your back pocket every single day. Pretty much all of my clients are 40 plus. So it doesn't matter if you're in menopause, if you have a high thyroid issue, if you have a busy schedule, if you're going on vacation, whatever the thing is, I can help you. You want to go ahead and book your call. Don't wait till the last minute, because what I have found is that y'all like to book your call at the last minute, because I don't know why, but then you might not be able to get a slot, because I do have like client calls and my calendar fills up. So if you're interested, go ahead and book your call now and save your spot so that we can get on a no pressure call to see if this is the right next step for you. If you have questions, you can slide in my DMs or put it in the chat. I'll be on live again next week, I think next Tuesday, talking about another aspect of consistency, which, let me see what it is I'm going to be talking about next week. Consistency on vacation. So that is what I'll be going live with, talking about next week. All right. So you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to the Fit Figure Formula podcast. If you're new here and you're struggling with your fitness journey, I invite you to take a super simple next step. Click the link in the show notes for a free training. If listening to this podcast has been helpful, imagine being inside the Formula Coaching Program. You can apply for coaching with the link in the show notes. I hope to see you inside.